Alrighty, fanboys and fangirls, it looks like Ming-Chi Kuo has added a little bit more detail to the Apple Car, and one of those little mini details has given us an indication of what we can realistically expect this car, the new Apple Car, in terms of mileage and what kind of battery technology it's going to use. Also on today's episode, AMD is reportedly going to be making some chip productions for Samsung. What kind of chipsets, you may ask? You may want to stay tuned and find out. And lastly, iOS 14.5 beta is officially in the works, and it looks like Apple has finally come up with a solution to fix the Face ID problem with people wearing masks, since that's the new norm, but it's going to require you to have an Apple Watch. All that on today's episode, so stay tuned. Yo, what's happening, everybody? Michael here. Welcome back to Technoid. Ignore the messy hair, guys. I've been out all morning. It is snowing like crazy yesterday. It's finally started to die down, and I was out since last night into this morning with school and everything, because school starts back, shoveling snow, and I had time to do this beautiful video. And hashtag, I'm the new Chris Paul! Woo-hoo-hoo-hoo! Woo-hoo-hoo! Let's start the show. All right, story number one, the main story. Let's talk about the Apple Car. Now, as you know, it came out, it made headlines, everybody was talking about it. Apple partnering with Hyundai Electric Cars to make their own reported electric car. According to Ming-Chi Kuo, at the time, he said that they were going to be using a revolutionary battery technology and making a car that works hand in hand with your iPhone and a very good assistant, which of course, we know how Apple's track record with that, but we didn't really get a lot of information about mileage and what kind of battery they're going to use. Well, according to Kuo today, he has upped his predictions by saying that in researches and with collaborated rumors and reports that he has put together, it says here Kuo has said that the first car will be based on Honda's eGMP platform for battery-powered electric vehicles. And what's crazy about that, the eGMP platform was announced late last year by Hyundai, and that this type of electric car can be using a 500 km, 310 mile range battery with an array that looks very similar to kind of how Tesla does their cars with battery layout, but it says here that it will be able to reach 80% capacity in an 18-minute fast charge. That is incredible fast charging, especially from Hyundai. And if you look at what Tesla does with their fast charging outlets, you can see why they wanted to partner with Hyundai and probably not Tesla, but I'm not saying Tesla's bad in any way. But he goes on and says that Apple Car will be produced together with Hyundai, but that other vehicles will be included in this collaboration like GM and PSA possibly. And that Apple will be using automotive partners in supply chains to help manufacture the Apple Car and taking the lead in components and design. Now, of course, there is no report on the price. The price is not even a factor into this point yet, but Kuo does say that you should expect this car to be in the more premium end. Don't expect this car to be where the mid-size SUVs are priced at. Expect it to be more of a kind of Model S. Now, of course, he doesn't exactly say that, but he does say that they are agonizing over how to do it and where to price this car in. So, all this put into a perspective kind of gives us an idea of where the car is headed. It seems like Apple is going to be going for a more reliable battery feature. It seems like that's going to be their priority. They're going to prioritize battery life, and that's kind of the norm for electric cars, trying to get high mileage and fast charging. So I really am appreciative that Apple is using other different components to build out these cars. But if you know anything about Apple and you know how they work, eventually they start to do this stuff, and then once they become comfortable, then they move on from these companies and they do their own thing. But in the case of automotive, that's an entirely different ballgame, and we have never seen Apple, like I said, in this type of market. I said it in my previous video when I talked about the Apple Car. This is a whole all new game for them. And they're saying that the production may be done by 2025. So we don't even know when this car is coming out. So all I can say, and then I'm gonna move on right to the next story, is that be prepared for Apple to kind of take a new chunk out of the market, but don't expect them to make a big splash. Unless, of course, they kind of somehow perfect it. But we have to wait and see. Story number two, keeping up with Apple, let's talk about that whole Face ID mask problem. Now, you know, with COVID-19 and everybody wearing masks as a new norm, the whole thing with the masks thing and Face ID has become so annoying for people, and a lot of people are just saying for Apple to come up with a way where you can wear the mask but use your eyes. Well, it seems like Apple has come up with a solution, and it's going to require you to have an Apple Watch, but you're going to want to hear why. According to The Verge, the most reliable Apple outlet, quote unquote, Apple says here that in iOS 14.5, they will be able to use a trick that they use with the Macs called Smart Lock. Now, of course, this is a codename Smart Lock. What it does is that when you're on your phone and you want to unlock, with the inconvenience of the mask being able to cover your face, you can use your Apple Watch to quickly authenticate and unlock your iPhone by just going on it with a little nudge, and that's it. Now, of course, we don't know exactly how these features work. We're gonna have to see more developers use this, and of course, videos will probably detail it. But from what it seems, it says here that most Mac users complain and say that even though the feature is so reliable, they would like to have seen this on an iPhone variant. So now we are getting this iPhone variant, and I think this is a better solution in terms of people wearing the masks. But again, it would be just easier if Apple would come up with an iris alternative, so where the Face ID can scan your eyes, or have like a special feature where it becomes adjusted to the masks, because again, this whole mask wearing thing is going to be the average norm. While I do appreciate Apple trying to make different perspectives and different things to work around this, it would just be much more easier if they had just taken a different approach and just did something like Samsung. Now, of course, we all know how iris scanning is, but Apple's Face ID is, of course, quote unquote, more safer. So we'll see what happens in the future. And last story, let's talk about Samsung and AMD. Now, as you know, Samsung and AMD have partnered, and they are closely working on a new project with Exynos chipsets and AMD GPUs. Well, according to an unofficial report from the South Korean tech forum Client, I don't know who comes up with these names, it says here that AMD wants to increase its CPU and APU production volume by 50%, but it says that their current supplier is not able to meet those orders. This is where Samsung enters the picture. They are basically going to work with Samsung because Samsung works on their Exynos chips, and they will be mass producing a 3nm processor for mass production, and AMD could then switch from its CPU and APU productions and then work hand in hand with Samsung. So basically the gist of this story is that AMD, as you know, has a partnership with Samsung, and they're building out GPUs for their smartphones. However, though, it seems they want to move also into the CPU realm, but they can't really meet demands. So by partnering now with Samsung in a different direction, by upping the production, they can now make it easier and accessible for people. This is a very good thing, I like to hear, especially from a company like AMD. Now, we all know how Intel went with modems. We don't know exactly what they would have been like with CPUs for phones, although technically we kind of do. But the point is, AMD is a very reliable company when it comes to graphics and CPU performances for computers and gaming-based platform. So I'm very interested to see where Samsung goes in this route. I'm actually very interested in this partnership alone. So to see them utilize this technology, a 3nm processor, and making it with AMD and their GPUs to be off the rails, that is gonna crush a lot of things. I don't know if it'll top Apple, but we gotta wait and see. But this looks very, very exciting, and I cannot wait to see when this feature comes out, and I can't wait to see all this stuff put together. Samsung, you've got my attention on that area. You definitely have something brewing there. And that is it for today's episode of Technoid. Now guys, again, I really hope you enjoyed this episode. If you did, hit the like button. If you disliked the video, hit the dislike button. That helps circulate my videos as well. Guys, again, the numbers are down. A lot of people keep telling me, oh, you're a dead channel, this and that. Listen, I don't care about the numbers. Yes, I took a break, and I'm gonna be back. It's gonna take a little bit of time for me to get back into it, like I said, but that's not gonna stop me from making videos for the people that watch me and for the people that will get back into it. So I'm not worried at all, but thank you guys for sticking there with me. I really appreciate you sticking it out. Again, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know your thoughts down below with all the stories we talked about. And once again, from your boy here, peace.